Alright my friends, today I'd like to show you how I make my version of a lasagna. Or, as I like to call it, lasagna. Alright, I like to put a mix of meat, a mix of cheeses. Very easy. I think a lot of people know how to make lasagna. Even there's people that just make a good one just following like the instructions on the box. Okay, let's jump right to it.
Okay, so here are my ingredients. I have here 3 pounds of beef. I'm going to use 2. I'm going to use 2 pounds of ground beef. I'm going to add some pork sausage into the mix of meats. I'm going to take maybe 3 or 4 of the links, open it up, get them out of the casing, and treat it as ground beef. Okay, and then I'll mix them together. I have this nice box of lasagna noodles. It's non-GMO, whatever that means. Anyway, it depends how many layers you want. I'm just gonna use 1 box. I'm not gonna make the lasagna too high. As illustrated there in the picture, there seems to be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 3 layers. But yeah, I'm just gonna use 1 box full. If I have to, I'll go back and boil up another maybe half a box. You want to boil the noodles for about 7-8 minutes to get it nice and al dente. I don't like it if it's too soft. But anyway, moving along. I love this brand of ricotta cheese. There was another that I would use often to make lasagna. I think that this is 100% better. Okay, the taste, the texture, it's just delicious. And the other cheeses I'm going to use a mix. I'm not going to use all of these. I'm just showing you the different sorts that you can find. This mozzarella brick that I can run through a grater. But also we have some nice Parmesan here. I'm going to use a little bit of this Parmesan. And a little of this mozzarella and provolone mix. Okay? We'll go along and decide as we go along how much of each to use. You're also going to need tomato sauce. I am making my tomato sauce from scratch. That's why I have this pot here ready. You need a pot with salted water, I should say. Another pan free for the meat mixture. I have this pan separately because I heat up both meats separately and then combine them. Okay, all right. So let's get to step 1. I'm sorry, I almost forgot the seasonings that I'm going to use. So I'm going to use some nice Italian seasoning, which is a mix of rosemary, parsley, basil, and oregano. Of course, I'm going to use some salt, some black pepper. That's enough for what I want to do. Some onion and garlic powder. And that's about it. Alright, as you can see, I got my ground beef going. I'm going to break it up pretty soon. And on the side here, I have these, I took out 4 of the sausage links, sweet Italian sausage. And all you're going to do is, you're just going to cut it open, get the casing off, and we're going to put it right in that other pan and, heat it up and get it crumbled up just like the ground beef. Alright, each shouldn't take you too long. Alright, as mentioned, we broke open the casing. You got the handle over here on this side. And you're just going to break it up the way you would ground beef. I left it on there for a bit. It must have seared the other side of it, which is fine. Alright, and we're just going to get it all broken up, crumbled up, to get it to look like, the same consistency as I mentioned of the ground beef. Ladies and gentlemen, so here is my ground beef. I wanted the water content to evaporate and I wanted to kind of sear little pieces of it. So some of the fat is burned off, and as I'm turning it over, don't know if you can notice on camera, some of them are nice brown bits. Brown bits. You know, as you remove the water, the flavor of the beef or whatever you're cooking up intensifies. Okay, so to this, I'm gonna add the pork. So what I want to do is, I kind of also let it go a bit longer. My mom always taught me to cook pork a little longer than everything else. I'm not just gonna pour it right in because I don't want the excess grease in there. So I'm gonna take a spoon and get it in there. If you had to have a slotted spoon, maybe that'll help. Okay. I shall accelerate time, but maybe I should have spread it around a little more, but that's fine. We'll deal with it soon. I've removed a lot of the fat, and I don't want to reintroduce it. Okay, this is good. All right. So now I'm going to give it a nice mixing, a nice stirring. I'm trying to be a little more careful with how I place my dishes and my utensils. One of my friends told me, Isaac, that on the videos I throw my plates and my dishes and forks and everything around. Sorry, because that cooking is serious business. It's like war. I'm going to go in with some of the salt. Of course, salt is to taste. Oh, and an important factor is that the pork sausage is seasoned. So that's something I have to take in mind. Black pepper. The beef, of course, isn't. But you know, you just want to have that in mind when you go on ahead and prepare this meat mixture. This is some delicious onion powder. We're going to go for the garlic powder now. And lastly, my Italian seasoning, which again, it's a mix of rosemary, parsley, basil, and oregano. And I actually like this, so I'm going to put a little more. So here on low heat, I got it on very low heat. I'm just going to give it a mixing, another stirring, another combining of the ingredients here. And let it go for 5 minutes or so. I have to find my cover first, right? It's on very low heat. I just, you know, want the heat to further combine stuff for me. We'll come back to it. Okay, folks, so here's our meat mixture. All right. You see bits of it nice and brown. We got it nice and combined. So directly to that, we're going to add our sauce. This sauce I just made. The pan is still on a very slight, very low simmer. That's why you can hear it sizzling there as we put this nice liquid, nice sauce in there. All right, now, nice and mixed. This will be our nice meaty sauce for the, you know, to put between our layers. All right, so again, cover this, and I'm gonna let it go for about 5 minutes or so. Okay, guys, I just want to show you. I grated up that one brick or block of mozzarella cheese, and to this I added some provolone and some Parmesan. Oh my God, it's so delicious. All right, so I got my water ready for the noodle. That's still on a simmer, and let's get working to the next step. All right, let's deal with the ricotta cheese. So I'm gonna pour in to a bowl or separate container the ricotta cheese. That's a lot. That is a lot. Well, we're gonna use the whole thing because
It's gonna come out delicious. It may make the lasagna soggy though, so we'll play it by ear. But for now, the whole thing is in there. All right. So now there are those that add egg to this. Excuse me. I'm so emotional making this. Actually, I was cheating and eating a piece of cheese off camera. I don't like to add egg to that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna directly add some Italian seasoning to it. And then just with a whisk or with a fork, I'm just gonna get it nice and mixed in there. All right, and that's it. And what we'll do is you cover it, put it into the fridge until we're ready to use it. Same thing with the cheeses that I grated up and combined. They're in the fridge. Okay, my water is angry. What we're gonna do is we're gonna boil up these noodles, and what you want to do is, you know, they have these lasagna noodles that you don't have to boil. I don't like the way they come out. I really don't. In my casserole that we're gonna use to bake it, about 3 fit flush on the floor of it, so to speak. So that's 3 for the base. This would be the next base, or the next floor, so to speak, or next level. Let's make it, should we make it 3 or 4? Yeah, let's put another layer. Why not? And what I like is to let this boil for about 7 minutes. Because as with most of my pasta, I like them al dente. Alright, so I'm going to let this boil here about 7 minutes. Alright guys, so there are my lasagna noodles. The package actually said 10 minutes, so I'm stopping at about 8 minutes, 8.5. I'm going to cut it off and drain that water. My meat sauce is ready. I have this casserole. What is this, like 6 by 12, you could say? And I also turned my oven on to 375. It's been warming. In order to deal with the noodle, I have like a wire mesh thing, but I don't feel like taking it out. I'm just gonna drain that and lay them across here, let them cool off for a bit. Okay, let's continue. All right, people. It turns out I had to bring out this wire mesh thing anyway because you want the pasta to drain properly. You know, if it's sitting on something with a curve, it'll retain the water. I also, or you also, or we also, and pat it down with some paper towel. Alright, so let's start building our lasagna. I have this casserole, nice casserole dish here. And what we're going to do is, we're going to start off, my meat mixture is here off on the side. We're going to cover this in a nice layer of the meat sauce. Now, if you want your sauce more saucy, that's up to you. If you want it with less meat, totally up to you. Point is, for now, you just want to kind of cover the bottom with some of the meat sauce. Okay, and we're going to start putting the layers down. Actually, is that too wet? Should I pat it down a little more? Yeah, it's okay. This is our base layer. Alright, this is our base layer for the lasagna. Now here I am rushing, so I didn't drain it out properly. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot the cheeses and stuff. Okay, let's be right back. Alright, we got a slight position change here. So here's my ricotta, here's my shredded mozzarella, parmesan, and provolone. Now what we can do is, people layer it differently. I'll usually put meat, more of the meat sauce, right? Then go with the cheeses. I've seen people do the cheeses, then the meat sauce. I've seen people do the ricotta, then meat, then the shredded cheeses. I mean, it's totally up to you. In my opinion, this is going in an oven, and it's gonna all be melty and meaty, and I don't see the point in fixating on one way. All right, let me accelerate time here a little bit. All right, so in my opinion, this is a good beginning because it's like a pyramid. The base of it is heavy, and as I go up, I'm gonna go a little lighter. Okay, so now, again, it's up to you. I'll usually do the ricotta first, but let's go ahead with the shredded cheese. Why not? Make sure I get a nice mixing of them. All right, and now let me get another spoon. Going to go in with the ricotta, or as one of my friends told me, it's ricotta. And you know what? I accept the correction because I'll correct them when they say habichuelas or arroz. So it's not fair to correct one and not the other. All right, so we're just gonna spread it. My oven is still going. 375. Okay. I'm gonna fill in those gaps. And the way the handle the way you handle the spoon allows you to keep everything in place. And you do your next layer. I'm gonna show you what it should look like done. I almost forgot to mention, since these noodles are going lengthwise, I don't want to put them lengthwise. I don't want to put the next layer lengthwise. So what I'll usually do is put them across. So I'll cut the noodles. I didn't cut that one effectively. That's my bad. I should have measured, which is fine. We'll deal with it here. Why am I mistreating these noodles? They're gonna call noodle services on me. All right, you just if you cut it awkwardly, just fix it. That's it. All right. And what we want to do is just alternate the direction in which they're going. Kind of like a wayward child. You alter the direction. All right, enough of that nonsense. All right, and we're going to start over. All right. How high you want to make the lasagna is up to you. But again, let me show you what it should look done. What it should look like when it's done. All right, people, here's my pre-cooked lasagna. Man, I want to put more cheese on top, but it's got so much cheese in the middle that I'll stop here. So that last layer, it's just sauce and cheese. You're not gonna put ricotta, okay, or anything else. What I like to do, I like to top it off with either some oregano or Italian seasoning. So we're just gonna put a bit there, and I'm gonna get some aluminum foil and just clean the edges a little bit. Get some aluminum foil, cover it, and then we'll stick it right in the oven. All right, so here it is covered. I'll try to get it as tight as possible on these corners. And another thing to remember is, if I'm not mistaken, the dull side of aluminum foil is non-stick. The shiny side is sticky. Am I right on that? Either way, okay. Now we're gonna put it in my oven. It's been at 375 this whole time. We're gonna cook it. We're gonna start half an hour. Then after the half an hour mark, we're gonna remove the tin foil and then let it go for another, depending on how it looks, 5 or 10 minutes. All right. You know what? It's heavy, so I need both hands. Be back. The oven is blazing. Oof. All right. Half an hour. Okay. Oof. Oof.
see it's steaming from under the. Why am I being a punk? Ta-da! Look how beautiful that looks. But it's still not done. So now I'm gonna put it back in the oven. Still 375. I'm gonna let the cheese toast a little bit. A lot of that fat from the cheese too will burn off. So it's going right back in the oven for, I was gonna say 5 minutes, but being that I put so much juicy cheese on there, I may leave it for 10. And I'm gonna have to go around the camera. Pardon me. Give me some space, baby. Ooh, baby. Alright, we're gonna come back. I've decided 10 minutes. We'll be back. Ooh, it is blazing in NYC. Right now it's like 81 something. Is it 81 degrees? But it's like very humid. It's not a refreshing 81 at all. Ooh, baby. Oh, yeah. Ooh. So this is what my bubbling lasagna looks like. Pardon the noise. Now, what I would like the edges to cook up a little more. So I'm gonna stick it back in the oven for another 5 minutes. I just wanted to come out super, super right. Be back. All right, people. Now we are going to take them out, and we are going to give it another look. Ooh, almost scorched myself here, burned myself here. Ah, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Got the edges crispy. And this thing is ready to be eaten. But we have to let it cool off. So I'm going to let it cool off here 10 minutes, just like this. And don't worry about it. It's not going to get cold. I mean, this thing is omega hot. All right, and then we'll come back to it. Serve it with something nice. All right. I'm going to serve this. Oh, man, the edges are nice. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, I need 2 hands. All right, here's my delicious lasagna. A little salad. I mean, if you're in a Hispanic household, you'll probably serve it with rice, which is a carb bomb. Where's my tripod? I'll just... Oh man, it's so meaty and rich. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right.